I don't know who I will call. We go deep.
Who can't be this common man again?
This one are Latin now. You don't they do and take. This one will last. No, he don't bully. Anybody will bully woman. The same way I come against like attack. Even though the woman way they bully, no be he. You understand? Now the same way I go make sure say this. No big guy, now boy. He never graduates. He just old for the stage of boys. Now he old.
African TV say go at studio say it be like kitchen.
Yes.
Tell the studio
there. No be kitchen where they produce mass. So you know kitchen of Kung Fu kitchen. Kung Fu kitchen. That's Chinese kitchen. They see everything. They see the kitchen up. Now when you go collect your food, you go just put your hand like this big with receipts.
Yeah.
Man,
sometimes this justice for Mohbad make some people see person finish, like people that cannot even talk to you anywhere. They one side, they form one jagaban for one side, bro. Everything that's what they spend for a week, Some of them. I know, see, but person who can't they drag you for nothing. Person who not even reach your children's school fees. They drag you for on top of say you define justice. You know how much a person they spend every week? What they talk about 1 month. Bro, so I don't feel like me in enjoyment. I out there on enjoyment for this justice now. I don't drop because people are very gullible. They go see the truth, they don't go talk just because of I don't know what they are looking for. So let's play the game with them. If you drag me, I drag you. If you follow me play, I follow you play. Anything you give me, I will return it to you. See that platform when they go now, our bros. They go Lati. All those bad people. Another woman don't they follow them now, but I don't want to put her name. All those people, now then they promote them. So instead of reprimanding him, you go feel everything they do the right thing. They push and forward, they go. Go to the watch. No, get there. Just call him.
How we pass? How we run? What I think you will be like? How we do things? How we pass? How we run? Making money every weekend.
Everywhere I go to is music.
If you want to say thank you now, please, and Isabella, if you want to say thank you to anybody, just say thank you. Kudus you. Mommy, good luck. Kudus to you. Kudus to you. I take investigation go lowo Minky. Any wig ti láti lò. Wig ti láti lò. Ó lè jẹ́ fún wig yẹn.
Bíríìgì ìyàwó ẹ̀ ló pè sórí òun ó dẹ̀ ń jí kírìmù ìyàwó ẹ̀ lòun ló ṣe búra tó ní kọ́nà bíi 1 million. Kọ́nà bíi 1 million.
Wọ́n máa sọ pé kírìmù yín mà ló ń lò ẹnìkan tó ń kọ́mẹ́ntì sọ pé kírìmù ẹlẹ́fẹ̀ẹ́ máa ní kírìmù ló ń lò.
Kò lè rí kírìmù tèmi lò kò sí kò ṣe fẹ́ rí lò kò possible. Kò lè rí lò.
Official Miss Irish, you don't give good money on this platform again. We now give Kudus you.
Ó bó ṣe rí ó dàbí ọmọ ẹlẹ́ran àwọn tó ń jáwọ́ gbà lẹ́yìn stage very ugly thing. Ọmọ bàbá yìí ugly.
Ó ti mú gbogbo èké ti jóná. Anyway, ìwọ nu yín ló kún láti ní wíìgì. Ẹni yẹn wà lórí pánẹ́ẹ̀lì ń bíbá kò dẹ̀ ti sọ̀rọ̀. Ẹni yẹn sì máa sọ̀rọ̀. I will make sure you talk. You will talk. wíìgì ẹni ẹ wà lórí panel yìí. Èwo nu yín ló fún láti ní wíìgì? Ẹ jẹ́wọ́ o, máa pa aláyé lála wá o, máa gbé aláyé lála dìde o. Okay.
A ní sí ìsèmi ló fún wíìgì sẹ́ẹ̀. Oh, wàhálà yìí pọ̀ o.
Okay. Ẹ má wọrí. Èwo nu yín?
Ẹni pé ní ìsèmi ti jẹ́wọ́ nu comment section wọ́n láàbí náà. You see it?
Irọ́ ni. Anita Bella, ẹ máa tọ́ ọ̀bẹ̀rin lẹ́nu, ẹ máa jẹ́wọ́ o. Máa tọ́ ọ̀bẹ̀rin lẹ́nu o.
A máa gé yín jẹ. Ojú sí o.
Okay. Anyway, mo ṣáà ẹni tó mú láti ní wíìgì tó wà bíbà mo gbé kúdùs fún. Ìwọ tó fún láti ní wíìgì, àforúkọ bò ẹ́ láṣìírí. I give you kúdùs. Kúdùs to you. Ẹgbẹ̀lẹ́. Ẹlẹ́wọ̀n tó ń ṣe justice for Mohbad, ex-convict ló ń ṣe justice. Oríṣiríṣi la máa rí.
Sammy Jojo, so Spending released Mohbad unreleased album. He played it on TikTok yesterday. Guy, Mohbad, why did you surround yourself with thy enemies? The financial Tamora. This is so disheartening. Oh, do me. Mo wish you could but fortunately, there's a limit to what you can do as a concerned citizen, as a passerby. John Tori Olong, lawyer Mohbad, what are you doing? Are you a real lawyer? Or you are just on a guadubu? See Mohbad come and are you a real lawyer? Because ever since this boy died, we've not seen anything Lori Orobo boy, concerning his legacy, concerning his child, concerning anything. Where are you, Tori Odlong? Where are you? Abi, wani only family tie, le kufu Mohbad. But nígbà tí Mohbad wà láyé, òun know Mohbad. Òun know where. And I can bet my hands that you're still collecting your pay. Why is late now? Lawyer, where are you? What have you done? What are you going to do concerning this Mohbad song that this hoodlum, this Olori Buruku Omo Aleyi to not play lórí TikTok? Spending, ìwọ spending. O dẹ̀rù bí o ṣe gbé. Àwọn tó ń tì ẹ́ lẹ́yìn wọn ò ní sínbẹ̀ fún ẹ o. Wọn ò ní sínbẹ̀ fún ẹ nígbà tó bá máa ra ẹ̀wọ̀n he. What right do you have, Spending? Right wo lo ní láti lọ play orin ọmọ lọ́mọ? Jọ, ṣe partner ni? Are you in partnership with Mohbad's immunization that you think you have every right to play his unreleased album, unreleased song, and people are looking at you, Wunmi ò dẹ̀ jí má sùn torí Ọlọ́run ọmọdé, má sùn jí. Oh my God. MFM, you want to say something? Let me allow you to talk before I continue because I know you're at work. If you come up with your account like that, that shows that you're at work. MFM. Okay, if you're ready, please let us know. Wunmi ò dẹ̀ jí torí Ọlọ́run. Can you please wake up for crying out loud? Wunmi, can you please wake up for crying out loud? Wunmi, you love this guy so much. Can you do something about your husband's legacy? Can you start suing people? Spending of all people. Do you know what is spending ti máa ta orin yìí fún? Ṣó ti mọ èèyàn mélòó tí Spending ti ta orin fún? Ìwọ àti ọkọ ẹ dẹ̀ finá sórí òrùlé sùn. Ẹ kó wọn ọ̀tá, ẹ kó wọn mọ́ra. Ẹjọ́ ń sùn, ẹjọ́ ń jí. Wọ́n mú information nínú ilé yín, wọ́n gbé lọ fún àwọn Don. Wọ́n kó lọ fún àwọn Don. Àwọn Don penetrate yín ní ara. Wọ́n ṣe ẹ̀mí ọkọ ẹ, wọ́n ṣe légbodò. Yeah, we know that you can't say anything because there's a limit to what you can say so that they don't buy you too, which is understandable. Jọ, àwọn kínkìnkín abẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ ṣó tó fẹ́ máa wò wọ́n ràn ni. Ṣé ó tún máa wò àwọn kínkìnkín yẹn lábẹ́, àwọn kínkìnkín tó ń gé ẹ jẹ. Ó ní fi ẹsẹ̀ kó tẹ̀ wọ́n pa, kó rá wọn mọ́lẹ̀lẹ̀ kí wọ́n kú dànù. Àbí ò mọ̀ wípé àwọn kínkìnkín yẹn máa wá dín ńlá mọ́ ẹ lọ́wọ́, ó wá nílé ṣe nǹkan kan. Start with all these kinky. All these hands, start with them. Start with all these hands. Teach them a lesson. Teach them a lesson. Whoever knows Bumi one-on-one, please should tell her, should advise her. Because that music that he played yesterday, do you know how many people have already recorded that? Do you know how many people that will now go and be doing remixing? Do you know how many people that will quickly go and patent this song, Wumi? Abi, what I say, Anita, please borrow me that English.
Copyright infringement. Copyright.
No. More gravity. You don't know the gravity of what Spending did yesterday. It's like you don't know the gravity of someone stealing your husband's unreleased song and throwing it out there. Nǹkan tó pa bàbá Sàlá lọ́jọ́ kìíní àná nìyẹn. Nǹkan tó pa bàbá Sàlá ní ọjọ́ kìíní àná tó bá lé ayé máa yẹn jẹ́. Nígbà tí máa yẹn ṣe tó ṣe kí náà ti porúkọ ẹ̀ kíní kan jòkèdó àbí kí lórúkọ whatever. Tí wọ́n lọ gbé tí wọ́n tà dànù tí wọ́n play ẹ̀. That he used millions of naira to record. And they stole it. That was what ruined that was what killed Baba Salah. Is it because Mohbad is dead? Is it because he's dead? Wumi, can you please wake up and do something? Wake up and do something. For crying out loud.
Actually, Pinky, I could do something. Modernization.
Who are the modernization?
Modernization is a company on its own.
Yes, a company on its own. Wumi is one of the board of trustee. Àwọn wo ló wà nínú modernization ṣe bóun náà ló wà ń bẹ̀ pẹ̀lú one or two people. She's the one that is there now with one or two people. Àwọn gan wọn ní modernization now. Kò ṣe pé Mohbad lọ bá àwọn èèyàn kan níbi kan tó fi ṣe modernization now. Me àtàwọn one or two people ló wà ń bẹ̀. Wumi, can you wake up and do something for crying out loud? Do you want your husband's legacy to just wash away just like that? Just for the sake of it? Why you allow all these hoodlums, all these bedlums, all these idiots to just waste your husband's legacy for nothing? Wumi Jo and Benny, can you wake up and ginger the lawyer? Spending needs to be sued. Spending needs to be sued. Why would Spending play your husband unreleased album on TikTok? All because he needs tap. All because he needs people to give him gifts. This is total BS. This is total BS. This is uncalled for. And this should not be tolerated. Wumi, this should not be tolerated. You are part of the criminalization. Can you please wake up, ginger that stupid lawyer that was collecting his pay when your husband was alive and cannot do anything, cannot even sue Eshishi nígbà tí Mohbad kú, kò lè ṣe nǹkan kan. Can you ginger that idiot to go and sue Spending? Because Spending do not have any right whatsoever to claim Mohbad unreleased album, unreleased song on TikTok yesterday. This is the height. This is the height. This is uncalled for. Wọ́n ní tá bá ń sunkún àmàríran Wunmi èyí tó sun nínú ẹkún ti tó. Can you please start taking action? Can you go and meet your legal team and let them put you in the right way so that you can start suing? You Spending as a scapegoat. Spending already crossed the line. He can defame you, he can go anywhere and say whatever, but playing that music on TikTok that people don't even know, you know how many people recorded that video yesterday? Now, kilo wa ku. Baba release Ogun Shelley release it because someone's already buying Besita. Shefe ma wo, Spending running. Oh my God. Oh my God. All right, no problem.
Okay, hello, you guys. What do you want? You are a problem solver. I'm talking about your mindset. You coming, with this agenda. You want to be a problem solver. As a problem solver, you have to do more to see into what every person's want, factor out those things out, and then let's sell it. Let's sell it to everybody, and then see how to achieve it. For me, that's my stand.
Thank you, Paprano.
African television. Let me just say something and just leave. I need to attend to work, right?
I want to respond to Paprano, please. Paprano, this protest is for good governance. When you have a good governance, you can present a case of regional government into a good government. So these people are doing.
You are missing something that I don't want you to be. To be taking us behind. Let's say you are the president of Nigeria, okay? There's some sort of protest right now. Some protesters come around. We want end bad government, okay? What are you going to ask? How do you end the government for them? Now, do your work as a president. How do you end the government, the bad government for them?
For example, I take the list.
Papadano, let me come in there. Let me tell you something.
I'm giving African.
Nigeria.
Let African answer the question. Yes, as you put yourself in the shoe of the president. Are you not going to feel kind of anarchy? Yeah, how do you solve the problem? Go on.
Okay. Let's pretend that I'm the president. Which I will be in the next 3 years. Now, if this agenda comes to me, I will now appoint committee to resolve all these issues because these issues are coming from the grassroots, from the people. And assure the people that these things are going to be rectified. These problems will disappear within a year or 2 years. I will give them a timeline. The committee must go to work, a task force to implement all this.
Are you still talking about
African thing? 9 years. When you see the fire coming up, everybody has it. Just relax. Relax, I beg.
So these are the people saying some people are bigoted. They are hearing, stop talking to your people. You guys are clowns.
That's the problem.
I mean,
like
when I was telling you earlier that
what is his name? And John, let me give you an information.
Yeah.
Give to whoever is there with you talking about Igbo. If we are going to talk about getting close to Nnamdi Kanu or doing something to release Nnamdi Kanu from custody, to fight for his human rights and fundamental rights and all of that, it won't take me up to 24 hours to get in touch. And I'm sure wherever you people are, you cannot, it may even take, even in the next month, you may not even be able to get close to him. There are ways that you do things that you put people in trouble. I'm not Igbo by tribe, but where I stay, many people mistake me for that tribe because of the issue of agitating for Nnamdi Kanu and all of that is not even a thing to it's not even an issue of controversy generally. But when you decide to go in a way that is wrong, you're going to create more problems for him, give them more reasons to detain him and keep him there, and in the end, there is nothing you can do about it. You cannot do nothing about it. We are talking about protest just the way I think someone posted there. Everyone's anti-queen. You have to open the door first to get to the dialogue table. What does that mean? If you have good governance, just like Papariano corroborated, if we have good governance, do you think people like Nnamdi Kanu will still be in custody? Do you think people like in the future, people agitating for what Nnamdi Kanu agitated for will even be arrested in the first place? But we are talking about doing one thing at a time, one step at a time. And some of you are thinking that maybe you have 2 heads, or if you have 2 heads to do these things, why have you not done it all this while? Only you. Why have you not done it? Today, as we stand, if any person go out to protest against Nnamdi Kanu, the possibility of having a non-government coming to shoot is 100%. Because they believe that they are trying to claim that Nnamdi Kanu is a terrorist, which we all know he is not. But when you give them the opportunity to do something on it, what do you expect? What do you expect? So now, if somebody outside there, if I have a brother that is going out to protest and I see a flag raising Nnamdi Kanu, I will tell him to be very careful. Because the government have the right, or whoever is dealing with the situation, have the right to look at it from another angle, another direction. And that is what we are trying to tell you. And you're ranting. What are you ranting for? What are you making? All this shout will not release him from where he is. You don't even know. I don't even know if you know your road to even get to the first place to start taking up the process for the release of the Nnamdi Kanu. And then when you come online and you are agitating and you are making things worse and you're making the government to look at it as if he's even busy there, he's still trying to ignite violence and all of that. And you give them the options and make them to punish him unnecessarily for nothing.
John Pope, can you hear me? Pope.
I can hear you loud and clear.
Do you think what Samuel Ekpa is doing right now is befitting for Nigeria? Is terrorizing the country or not? What Samuel Ekpa is doing?
Mr. Papariano, when I was with you in the morning, this particular army wasn't here.
No, it's okay.
If you remember what I said, if you remember what I said about Samuel Ekpa.
Quick disclaimer, just let me quickly say something. This Pope has been here since September. This is Pope speak, okay? I hope that Pope is not doing this intentionally. This is how he speaks naturally, okay? He speaks this way. On so many accounts, unless maybe you guys don't want him to speak, I don't know. On so many accounts, he's having issues with different people on the same voice issue. If that is how he is placed, let's just see how to manage that with him, okay?
Thank you.
But it should be more based on intellectual conversation, not on, volumes. So please, you to try to manage your volume so that you don't intimidate people.
Okay, sir. Thank you very much. Coming about Samuel Ekpan, I was there in the morning, and when something come up about Samuel Ekpan, one Mr. Funky, I say that it's the government that is giving Samuel Ekpan all those things that he's doing. It's government that is giving him go ahead to do that. I give a reference. During Obasanjo, there is one of those South governor that embezzled money, and he ran to US or UK. But the Nigerian government went there and arrested, bring him back to this country. That whatever that you see happening here is the government. If after God, the second thing is government.
John, you are missing something. Yes, I said. Okay, Nnamdi Kanu was in some European countries.
I'm not talking about Nnamdi Kanu. I'm talking about Samuel Ekpan.
No, I'm not just. You are his reference. It's relative. Samuel Nnamdi Kanu was in Germany. He was in some European countries. Nigeria don't have agreement with this country to, send to arrest people to expatriate criminals. Okay, so when Nnamdi Kanu got to Kenya, Nigeria might have some agreement with Kenya, and as a result, they were able to get him from Kenya. Like Finland right now, but there's nothing Nigerian government can do. It's in another territory.
Okay.
Okay.
Okay. Thank you.
It may jeopardize the economic relationship.
Okay. Thank you. Okay. Thank you very much. The government, the Nigeria government is not feeling well. So if Nigeria government is corrupt, everything that you see under the Nigeria government will be corrupt. And that is why we have stand up and said enough is enough for all those corrupted government. Let them go.
Should Nigeria shut down all the business with Finland just because of Samuel Ekpan? Should they shut down all the business with Finland? Should Nigeria shut down all the business with Finland because of Samuel Ekpan and aggravate our problems here?
Wait, let me ask you one question. If Finland doesn't have embassy here,
should we shut down all businesses with them?
Wait now, if Finland have embassy here or not?
Talking about economic crowd, you still want us to shut down all business.
You're talking about economic, and I'm saying is Finland economic. You're talking about economic and the life of the people. What is the first primary of government? It's not to protect the life and the property of the people.
I'm gonna let you hear your view. Just say
something, please.
Okay, for Samuel Ekpan will be in Finland and you will be destroying life in Nigeria here. And you're talking about economic. Who are the people that is managing this economic? It's not a human being. I don't know the human being that is destroying here.
So you think Tinubu government is one sponsor Samuel Ekpan? Is that what you think?
What I'm trying to say, what Samuel Ekpan is doing, it's not right. It's not right. Government has everything that will bring him to book.
Yes, can I be allowed to speak, please?
Okay, go on.
Yes, there is something in law that is called estupi cosa non oritio atto. It is Latin. And it means out of a dishonorable action, the matter does not arise. Are you getting me? So what I'm trying to say in essence is that bringing someone to Nigeria illegally through the back door and to the court is illegal. So it has no basis to stand. That man was brought to court. He was brought to Nigeria. He was kidnapped. He was not a law. There is no law that stood as in he was not taken to court in Kenya before he was brought to Nigeria. He was extraordinary rendition to Nigeria, which is very, very wrong. So what I'm trying to say is that let's keep that aside. We are all Nigerians. We are all Nigerians. What I'm trying to say, we are all Nigerians. And what is affecting the high is affecting the low. Currently in Nigeria, we are also.
Do you know how instigating and offensive this person is? It's not even about the legal issue. Judiciary, I know that there are some shortcomings there, but I mean, man to man, person to person, groups to groups as Nigerians, this man has been offensive in his rhetoric.
No, let's keep that aside. We are talking about
don't keep it aside. These are issues to address, just like Samuel Ekpan is doing it right now. He's happy. It's not being. It's not stopped.
It's totally against what Nnamdi Kanu is doing.
That is it. That is what I'm about to say.
He went as far as Nigerians.
And if he is doing totally what
are you in the Zoom?
What Samuel Ekpan is doing is
are you in the Zoom? Namdi went as far as calling us, people in the zoo. Are we in the zoo?
No.
He was even encouraging kids. He was encouraging kids.
Papadano, can I just pass a message and leave here? Papadano, I think I have a message for you before I leave.
Okay.
I think every person that was here, the general discussion was as to whether or not this protest is even appropriate for people to come out to join. And I know the main issue of discourse was the issue of having a particular goal that the people want from the government, and all of that, and then the possible reaction from the government that were just like the precedents we have had from the past with respect to the shootings, and there is no account in the end, and people will just die like that. But as it stands, everything, the topic has changed completely, and I expected you to have at least draw the topic back to where it is. The same thing Busuyi was complaining of is the same thing we are already experiencing here. Imagine that we all here stand as imagine that we all here are on the protest ground. Imagine we are already on the protest ground, and what would be happening? Maybe some people think they like Nnamdi Kanu more than some of us. No, but it is it's only what you people don't really know who really likes this man. You people don't know the number of persons that see him as a model. I
mean, if you look at the 14th demand, the 15th demand, Nnamdi Kanu is not number 1. Nnamdi Kanu is not number 2. Are you hearing me? Nnamdi Kanu case. If you look at the demand, I haven't gone through demand of this person, but the demand of Asore, Nnamdi Kanu wasn't number 1. Nnamdi Kanu wasn't number 2. I think he mentioned Nnamdi Kanu around that number 4 or 5th, something like that. But this thing we are talking about, my brother.
How many Nigerians do you think she will represent? How many Nigerians
That is what I was just wanting to ask.
What are you saying now?
You people should not cut words from my mouth. Let me finish. I think now the one I said they should support Nnamdi Kanu. They should release Nnamdi Kanu. When I saw it, first, believe me, when this protest issue was coming up gradually, the Igbos, the Eastern, they say no, they are not going to, they are not coming out for any protest. That let the Hausas and the Yorubas, let them continue their protest. Chinese and Nigeria, let them continue. But let me tell you people what the reason why when I saw Nnamdi Kanu under this 14th this thing, and I said, okay, my thought is that if the Easterners saw Nnamdi Kanu case on this, then I think we'll have something that will bring them, that will make them come out for the protest. If we are not saying they should come to Abuja to come and raise Nnamdi Kanu matter here. We are not saying they should go to Lagos and raise Nnamdi Kanu matter here. But to me, what I believe, for my own mindset, immediately I saw Nnamdi Kanu on this 14th point that we want government. When I saw Nnamdi Kanu, I said, actually, Igbo people say they will not come out. But by the time they see this, they will definitely come out. That is my belief, and that is where I'm heading to. But me going out, I'm not going to hold Nnamdi Kanu's flag on air. Release Nnamdi Kanu. What I bring up this issue of protest is hunger. It's hunger. Believe me, I do mean fuel price still remain 250 or 300. Nobody would have stand up for protest.
If better hungers catch those Igbos, they will come out. They will not say because of Nnamdi Kanu.
My brother, all of them will come out. Even without Nnamdi Kanu, they will come out. But listen, without Nnamdi Kanu, they will come out. But I'm telling you what I saw there. That is why I keep saying. But without Nnamdi Kanu, everybody will come out because they are not selling bag of. They are not selling mudu of rice in East at the rate of 1,000 or 500. They are not selling loaf of bread 500 naira there. The same price in East, the same price in Abuja, the same price in Lagos. So they will come out whether Nnamdi Kanu there or not. They will come out.
Okay, let's do this in this way. If the Igbos are so sure that they are so industrial direct, let us come up for regionalism now. Let Igbos stay in their region. We Yoruba, we are very okay in the southwest. I mean, I don't know why this thing is it's a very big issue. Like, I mean, people know that we really want, like this Nigerian people are beginning to make look like, oh, it belongs to one tribe. We are very okay with Nigeria, not Nigeria. So, like, just one respect. Let there be mutual respect from every.
That is one of the major issues we are having in this country. That is one of the major issues we are having in this country.
Igbos are they are so quick to instigate and aggravate and I mean, cause problems. And when it comes, and then they begin to be the first stuff like that. And there's one of the
major issues we have in this country since the 1990s was brought down.
The expansion of our warehouse into it. There's enough of people. Oh my God, network. What's causing this? What is dropping people? I didn't drop you guys, I think it should be network. So that is the issue. We are not
one of the major issues we are having in this country.
We are very confident right now to take the challenge. We've been called so many names, so many violence. Yes, I hear you.
Yes, what I'm trying to say is that one of the major issues we are having in this country is this present constitution. This present constitution we are having today is one of the major issues we are having in this country. If Nigeria had remained in the 1963 constitution, the three constitutions we had then, the constitution of the old Eastern region, the old Western region, the Northern region, and the constitution of the Federal Republic of Nigeria, if we have stick to that pattern, everything would have been okay in this country. There wouldn't have been any issue in this country whatsoever. Even terrorism would have been
if we have stick to what?
To the 1963 constitution, the constitution we had before this 1999 whatsoever military
Who destroyed it?
And the military now they destroyed it now.
The Easterners.
No, the military brought it down.
That's they're motivated by the Easterners now. Chukwuman and
No, that's not true. That's not true.
You see,
you go back to your history. I was saying it in the comment section that history that was not taught in school has been a major problem in this country. That been a major problem because
you're literally just denying history at the moment. It was Aguiyi Ironsi. You are doing the same thing now. You are denying history right now.
I've heard someone say that he's in Canada. I've heard someone say that he's in Europe. Hello, can you hear me? Yes, I've heard someone say that he's in Europe and they are all living well. You know why? Because all those countries are there. There have been a revolution, a major revolution that's happened in all those countries.
Yes,
people as they are.
It's the British system, the Westminster system, not Swiss.
No, not just their system. See, the West, they are corrupt. They are even more than corrupt than the Africans today. I am telling you the gospel truth. Go and read Oliver Cromwell's Revolution.
Forget all this too much grammar. You know what to do right now.
Oliver Cromwell's Revolution. Even King Charles himself was executed for treason.
If you really want to save some from Africa,
you went and adopted
the staff of religion.
Not this is a Nigerian issue, not just a regional issue.
System. That's what
we are having today. It's a Nigerian issue, not a regional issue.
That way we want regionalism. I beg, make everybody.
Yes, I agree with you totally, 100%. I agree with you. I agree with you. Regionalism will come with
Nigeria is doing somehow. Let us go back to our south.
It's as simple as that. I agree with you 100%.
Somebody came from Europe and told you that he discovered the Niger. How then you believe that rubbish? A river that has been in existence for more than decades. Your forefathers have been swimming, fishing through it. A white man came and said he discovered it for you. This is how we were taught lies in our school system. This is why we are living in this.
But you just counted him on the truth now. Whether it's a lie or not. That's a simple question. You change it because of your own ethnic identity.
What was the name of the River Niger before the person came? What was the name?
They go through truth about everything.
Tell me now who discovered it around that place. The person that named it. Tell me who discovered it.
Papariano. So the people that lived around the River Niger had different names for it. The Yorubas, for instance, called it Odoya. So the Hausas had a different name for it. The Baribas had a different name for it. The Nupes had a different name for it. So it wasn't called Niger. there was the name, Yorubas call it Odoya. But that has to do with the fact that you guys are changing history because
No, wait. I'm interested in that. You see, it was called Odoya.
Yes, in Yoruba.
I mean, if Niger passed through which states? Which Yoruba states?
So old Oyo was actually in present Kwara State. So River Niger, you see, from the confluence at Lokoja, parts of Lokoja and Kogi State, for instance, have Yoruba settlements, ancient settlements. So you have places like Oworo, Kaba, Ijumu.
So
they
all the way the whole of the river, or the one that was apportioned, the one. So they knew that the river was.
They called that river. No, they call Niger Odoya because they can see Niger. They didn't have anything to do with Benue, but they had Niger very close.
Anyway, there's one thing, right? Geographically, if somebody comes and is able to prove something, okay, and is able to give you the content of that thing, that person can discover that thing. It's the nature of that thing.
The point is that the word Niger. So the point is that the word Niger is a word is from the Latin.
Black. It's black.
It means black, right? It means black. And black. So the thing is this. Now this is ongoing. The English would use Niger, but the Portuguese would use
nigger. I mean, black river. Just a black river.
No, this is ongoing. The Portuguese will use the word Guinea. The English will use the word Niger, but both of them are talking about black. Guinea is also black. The point is that by the time they got to Africa and they found the river, people had a name for it. So if people had no name for it and they were not doing anything with the water, then it would make sense. But it makes sense to say that it was one who, was the first European to do navigation and all of those things, but not the first person.
You can't come to my
Okay, you know why? When you say it's not the first person, who is the first person that you want to give the credit?
Yeah. Father,
so it's like me asking you. Sorry.
When it's your own history,
it's like me asking you.
If you don't have your own history, if you are not making history, someone is making. You have issues with that.
Yeah. Can you hear me?
I hear you.
May I ask a question? Who discovered Mississippi?
Where? River Mississippi. You mean River Mississippi?
Discovered the Nile.
I can't hear you very well.
My brother, who
discovered Mississippi?
Wait, now, Miracle, I'm going to settle with you.
Mississippi, who discovered the Nile? Let's start with that.
You mean the person's name?
You're not going to
talk about the person's name.
Have that.
I can't hear you very well. Your network.
You will never find the answer, but oh dear.
What do you mean? I can't hear you.
There's nothing to argue here. He just told you the truth. If the man said I was the first European,
can you hear me now? Can you hear me now?
Yeah. Go on.
Papariano, can you hear me now?
Okay. Yes.
I said the same way you would not be able to tell, you would not know who discovered Mississippi or who discovered Nile or Limpopo. It's the same way you would not know who discovered Niger.
Mississippi is
these bodies of water are ancient.
Another discovered
the source of the Niger.
Niger itself.
He couldn't have. So hold on, Papariano. He couldn't have because if the people who have been living there, the Native Americans, if you have no name and they have lived by that water and they have used that water, and you're telling me there's a European that discovered it, then it's the same mistake you're making with River Niger. So it may be the first European person to get to that body of water, but that doesn't mean he's the first human being to get to that body of water. And it has to do with anybody writing anything. If there are many rivers that you never be able to tell me who discovered things, for instance, in England. You would not know that because these are ancient bodies of water. People have always lived around it. So, but it makes sense to say that, okay, this is the first European to do this.
Right? Discover the source of the Niger, not the River Niger itself.
I mean, how does this come to play with? I mean, how does this come to affect our conversation?
Because, and the reason they are saying this is because the reason, by the way, Papariano, is because you asked this simple question, and this is the funny thing on this stage. You asked a simple question: who abolished the original system? And people, instead of saying this person did it, that person did it, they said no. Let's forget history because they taught us wrong history. Like, what are you talking? So they now went to say, oh, it's just like telling you that Mohbad discovered by Niger. What you have done is to leave the question that was asked and make it look as if the rest of us in this place are dumb, to not know that you're actually running away from the question. A person did it, by the way. It doesn't mean that his ethnic group did it. Agoye Rossi, dissolved the concept of regionalism in Nigeria with Decree 34. It does not mean that the Igbos did it. If you cannot mention the name of the person, then you go round and round, you are doing exactly what you're saying other people are doing by saying, oh, tribalism. You've actually practiced the same thing. History is sacrosanct. It doesn't really care whether it was River Niger that was discovered by Mongo Park or Park Mongo.
If it was a Yoruba man, they'll be very quick at saying it. They'll be very, very quick at mentioning the name.
But it doesn't mean that it doesn't mean that it was the Igbo people that did it. Just mention the name of the person and move on. Just around.
There's something like we Yoruba, we don't teach our kids, teach our people.
When did you become Yoruba, Papa?
Huh? You say?
When did you become Yoruba?
I'm 100%. I'm Yoruba now. You don't know I'm Yoruba person.
Oh, really? Where are you from? Because a few seconds, I think the last time I heard you say something about being from Anambra or something like that.
No. I'm Yoruba on those states.
Oh, okay.
Nigeria to be specific. Let's say the local.
Oh, I see. What's the delay?
I am my food. No, how are you? So anyway,
I'm not that deep. I got the basic ones are here.
The thing is this: we can live as one people after we're human beings. Or if we're able to live with foreigners when we travel out of this country, we deal with ourselves.
We can live as one people if we get our system working for everybody.
How do we gonna work how our system gonna work when some of us want to dominate the other? We don't have good mind for each other.
The problem is that we have no working system. No working system in Nigeria.
When the working system was who destroyed it.
So let's have regional system.
When the working system was who
destroyed it. Let's just campaign for the better system instead of even talking about who destroyed it. What can we do to get a better system?
It's as simple as that. Yes.
But it's also okay to be fair and to be honest about who destroyed it.
When time comes to solve our problems, we tell ourselves the truth.
No. These are the discussion we need to have before we start solving our problems. We can't just wake up one day and decide to just go around doing things. No. We have to have discussion first before we start solving our problems.
But you know the funny thing, Jerry, about discussions have been had. There was a sovereign national conference at Obasanjo, and Jonathan also organized the confab in 2014. Interestingly, they had these conversations, apart from what you had at the Oputa panel. These conversations have been had. They even had recommendations that they sent to Jonathan that, of course, because he didn't get re-elected, so he couldn't implement those things. If we really want to be fair, people from all parts of Nigeria have sat down more than once to discuss what happened. Some of them have even gotten angry and stormed off and then came back and resolved it. The problem is pushing it to say, you know what, these recommendations have been made. How do you implement them? And that's what I think that I was saying earlier, that if you have that as the basis of your protest, then it's as if you're even climbing on the shoulders of those who have gone ahead of you. When people come around and blame, by the way, the Nnamdi Kanu thing is not the only thing that's wrong with that list, by the way. To make it clear, that's not even the original list. Maybe that's the list of his own group that they're protesting. There are other groups as well with other lists. And for me, I think that could be problematic.
That's their own journey.
But if
that's their
own group.
I don't know if Sowore's list and this list are the same. I don't know. I don't think
they're different. There's some overlapping.
I don't see anything wrong with this.
Well, if you're telling me that if you're saying that they should sell fuel for 100 naira, I think there's something wrong with that list, and I'll tell you why. It is not realistic. It's not realistic. So the guy was saying that wait. The guy said that wait now. There's inflation all over the world at the moment. What you had, forget what even happened with the naira. Let's assume that naira is still what it was to dollar when Tinubu became president.
Okay.
Still, you will not be able to purchase. Your purchasing power will not be the same thing as it was 5 years ago. And 5 years ago, you were not even buying petrol for 100 naira. So you're not even buying petrol for 100 naira 5 years ago. The guy was saying that, oh, they used to sell it 70 naira on that. You know the funny thing? And this is the funny thing. My family, we used to have this thing back in the day. I sold a gallon of kerosene. A gallon, that's about 5 liters, for 2 naira 50 kobo. I sold it back in the day. So when people say that it's 17 naira, I'm like, okay, you are going. What should we say that I should go back? Should we say should? So if a gallon is 2 naira 50 kobo, think about what a liter would cost. Are we going to go all the way back? The point would be that if, for instance, we have learned to take 1 step forward and 10 steps backward, so we say, okay, remove subsidy, but then we see how it's biting, and it's not fun. Let me make it clear. It's not easy on many people. But then you say, put it back, and they're making 100 naira. Like how? What is realistic about that demand? And that's what I'm saying. When people stop and say, everybody that is against me is brilliant. Meanwhile, the first thing you say is actually a product of a dead brain. Because there's no proper thinking of what you're talking about.
I'll tell you why. Why I think 100 naira per liter
to sell petrol 100 naira per liter.
Number one, yes.
Please tell me. I would like to know.
Nation. If only you knew.
Please tell me. I'd like to learn. I'd like to learn.
If only you knew the accurate amount of crude Nigeria produces a day. Our crude are being stolen. I remember during the political campaign and everything of some politicians, I overheard, is it this guy? Is it P2B? I overheard him saying that there is a ship that comes into Nigeria. It takes our crude unaccounted for all the way to, I don't know which country he was talking about, but I overheard him, and that vessel is so big. I do stay in River State to start with. I do see vessels. You understand me? So that vessel is so big that, according to them, they say it takes about 12 to 14 days, something there about to be filled up. So you can begin to imagine. Okay, let's keep that aside.
Is that what makes you think you can sell 100 naira? Does that mean we can sell petrol?
I'm coming. Nigeria is an oil producing nation. The refineries in Nigeria are not working.
Okay.
Port Harcourt refinery, right from the Buhari regime, we have heard the refinery is going to work. Give it January, it will work. January will come and go. Another January, it will work. January will come and go. Even to this present regime, they told us January has come and gone, and we are today in July, and we are almost 6 days to August. The refinery in Port Harcourt is not working. The refinery in Warri is not working. The refinery in Kaduna is not working. Even Dangote refinery is being sabotaged.
When Jonathan was Germany was working.
No, I am coming. This is a systematic issue. This is a systematic issue. It is not the issue about a particular person. No. We won't base Nigeria issue on a particular person. It is a systematic issue. It is a rot in the system. Our system is rotten. So selling 400 naira is very, very realistic. If only our refineries are working. You understand? And I remember during Buhari regime, some independent marketers and thereabout came to Buhari with a proposal that he should allow them to build modular refineries in Nigeria. As big as Nigeria, we are supposed to have more than 10 working refineries. And if those refineries are working and some private refineries too are working, there will be competition in the market. If this one decide to sell 200 naira per liter, this can decide to sell 100 naira per liter, this can decide to sell 150 per liter. It is business, it is competition. Just like cement. In Nigeria, only one man is given absolutely all the right to produce cement in Nigeria, and he doesn't even produce the cement in Nigeria. He brings it into Nigeria and backs it in Nigeria. I remember BCC Boko, something like that. This is a Benue cement company. BCC Boko in Benue State. There is a cement producing factory in Benue State. It has been shut down. There is a cement producing factory in Abia State. In Karagu cement factory is being shut down. Even Ajokuta Steel is shut down. All these things are the rots in our system. That's what I am saying. So if there is competition among marketers and if there is competition in our economy get going. Nobody will complain. I overheard is it the professor or someone saying that he buys diesel about 9 million.
Yoruba.
Company to run.
What this is you are saying? It is not a short-term goal. When they say Nigeria go better, they are telling that it will be later on it go better.
Another thing about this is that another thing too, we need to cut the cost of governance. Nigeria has the highest paying lawmakers in the world. Nigerian lawmakers earn the highest. I remember, is it about last month, a news broke out that in Buhari regime, all the money that was stolen were given back to the looters. And someone came on national television, he told us that Patrick Aziz has stolen $69 billion. He banked it in America. And nothing has been done in that respect till today. So you can imagine $69 billion in Nigeria educational system. How good an educational system will be. People like the prof will not have to go to America. You understand me? We don't have to go to Canada. Because the system is working.
It's very easy to call this big figure. Okay? If you do your research, you get to the root of those things.
Yes, we have to cut the cost of governance. The seat of the president to the seat of the councillor is too attractive. It is too attractive. You can imagine the councillor having 500,000 for anybody per hour. You can imagine.
Let's do something. Okay. Like me, I like to be constructive. Okay? All this too much complaint talk doesn't amount to. I believe that so that we can be able to get things right. All these things you are saying, are you saying it's achievable under this centralized kind of government that we have? Or
impossible.
Be achieved under a regional. If it's under a regional,
it can only be achieved under a regional system.
And then let the conversation be in that area. So I mean, let the conversation come to that area. Talking about lawmakers, this one, that one. Then let us talk where there is talk. Where there is no talk, we'll just keep ranting. This government, that one, lawmakers. They decide to change that thing now, but under the same system. How are you free? So let us look for area where we can fight, whereby we can say, okay, everybody's having an economic freedom. Whereby you can generate your own, you can generate your revenue by yourself, and you can use it for your people. And you can give to the center whatever percentage that needs to keep the center going. And we can look into it. And believe me, for me, I think this is the best time. Bola Ahmed Tinubu should be able to give regionalism to Nigeria, but the man is partisan. I mean, he has said that his party is first. So I don't know how that wants to work. But again, protest is another good thing that we can use to set this country into the right order. Protest is good or protest is bad. But again, the issues where I keep having issues is that the unwise behavior that has been exhibited in trying to degrade people, groups, and threaten them, intimidate them, force them into submission. I mean, this aggressive behavior, it's not going to make anybody, reason alike. I like that word. If we all can reason alike, come together and understand the challenges that is confronting us all. I mean, there are so many rich able politicians, rich Hausa politicians, Fulanis and Yoruba politicians. But the people, the poor people of this old ethnics, they have common problems. Okay, but these poor people right now, how do they resolve their problem? They cannot. Okay, they keep allowing themselves to think differently, to allow different things to instigate them. The rich people, they can come together. Okay, but the poor people can't come together. So this problem is the biggest challenge. I don't know when this is going to be resolved. That is the biggest challenge. That's it.
Yes, protest is good. I agree with you. And protest is also bad. But the way and manner which we protest is the main thing. Is the key thing. If we decide as a people that today we are going to shut down the government, see our demands ahead, we can do that. It's as simple as that. If the labor union comes today and say, I know that almost all Nigerian workers are under the labor union. If the labor union today say that the government will shut down the government, it's as simple as that, and they will give us our demand. Just like all these things that the labor union did, which they decided to give them 70,000, and they were clapping all around the country. Like as if 70,000 is like $100. 70,000 is 40 something dollar. It's not. It can't even take. It can't even take a grown up man 1 month. So protest is good. Protest is bad. But the main thing is that the key thing is that the way and manner which you protest. Me, I don't believe in you take placard, you go up before you know, just like as they did in NSAS, they come out before you know they start shooting people. Because that's the African way, that's the black African way. Just like what's happening in Kenya today. Even in Uganda, it has started. So I believe in, if we decide today as a people that we are going to shut down the government, will shut down the system. Nobody will go out today. Everybody will just shut down the economy. See our demands ahead. It's as simple as that. I believe President Bola Ahmed Tinubu is a listening man. According to those around him, he's a listening man. So if he can listen to our problems, our plights,
and bad government, go back to regionalism.
Simple. End bad government and go back to regionalism. That's that.
Or end central government and go back to regionalism.
Yes, now. And let the seat of the president. It will not even be a president. It will not be something like prime minister. Or perhaps we can have a president and a prime minister. Just as we had in the time of Nnamdi Azikiwe as the president and is it Ahmadu Bello or as a prime minister? Yes,
the British system, the Westminster system.
Yes. Nigeria has failed us. We have failed ourselves as a people. Nigeria has failed us.
We tell ourselves the truth. I mean, instigating violence.
Our major problem is deep-seated with our history, especially with the British and the white people. Do you believe up to today, Nigeria do not have records of the amount of oil they export, and Nigeria do not sell their oil themselves? Nigeria, through NNPC, did what they call a joint venture agreement. This joint venture agreement, we allow companies like Shell, Chevron, and the rest take almost 50% of what is drilled from the oil, from the oil farm. This has been happening since 1970s. So half of our oil do not necessarily comes directly to the public. Half of it goes to Shell in a joint venture agreement. Now, we have a similar country with a similar problem, but how do they solve it? Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia had a company known as Aramco. Aramco is the most valuable oil firm in the world. And it used to be an American company until Saudi Arabia nationalized it in the 60s or 70s. They make sure they took total control of their resources. And the excuse Nigeria continue to make is that they don't have the capacity and the manpower to be able to extract their oil. Now, it becomes even more worrisome when, after taking almost 50%, giving 50% to the likes of Shell, Ajib, Total, and all the rest, the remaining 50% that is left, Nigeria halved it and used half of it to take loans. So all these railways you see, these China companies and all that, they pay with crude oil. So our governments have been so reckless from the time of Obasanjo, not even this administration, though they also added to it. From the time of Obasanjo, you can count the numbers of loan payments, repayments, the agreement that was done with crude oil that have not even been extracted. It is this same company that sells the oil and give them half of it on behalf of the federal government. Nigeria have no business to do with oil sales, the NNPC. And they come out with a petroleum bill and still they did not address it. This is our major problem. Now, half they are getting from oil drilling, they use it for debt payment. The remaining half is what they use in servicing their own local bills and around and helping Nigerians to survive. Now, this is not enough. How in still the same age that we have, Nigeria do not have total control over our resources. Half of it is still with the share. This is a fundamental problem. The government have sold out their right to these foreign companies. So the joint agreement that has been revolving since the 70s, running close to almost 30-something years, we must put an end to it. We must not 30-something, over 40-something years. They revolve.
I agree with you. And let me just chip in one or two into what you just said. You know, the oil in Nigeria, the oil wells in Nigeria are not state-owned. The oil wells in Nigeria belongs to individuals. They are not state-owned. So I remember vividly during the time of Jonathan. Jonathan tried. He gave. I remember he gave letter to all the oil owners, oil block owners in Nigeria, telling them that a certain month that their oil blocks will all expire. The oil blocks will go back to the nation. You understand? The nation will be the sole owner of the oil blocks in Nigeria. So that is one of the major problems we are having in our oil sector. The NNPC is so corrupt that
Nigeria just has thereabouts 300 oil wells. Thereabouts. And with these 300 oil wells, they export now 1.25 million barrels per day. In this, half of it is totally for the international oil companies. These international oil companies must leave Nigeria for Nigeria to prosper. I still don't understand how Nigeria cannot drill its own oil and cannot have the capacity to do so after many years of having Shell, Total and Ajip and all the rest, Mobil, Chevron and all these people mining and taking away our prosperity. It has to stop. This is where the protest should direct it to. Once we are able to figure out where it is coming in and there's transparency, Nigeria oil business is the most corrupt entity in the world. You can Google it and see for yourself. Saudi Arabia has been able to use the resources from their oil for the prosperity of their nation. They have so much managed it so well with serious efficiency and transparency. In Nigeria, there is no transparency. And this is where we should direct our fight against. If we are able to solve that, we'll be able to solve our fuel problem. Because right now, Nigeria do not have more than 200,000 barrels per day for the people. That is what government is using to service the people. So even if Nigeria had built refineries, it will not be enough for them because they use the half of what they get from the international oil companies to service their debt and also pay for the oil exports bargain. So, and it is this same international company through their own Western institution like IMF that encourages the federal government to take loans for white elephant projects. These white elephant projects, they use it to take away the money, and they are so much aware that this money will be stolen. So all these white elephant projects, you see them brandishing up and down, were loans taken from IMF, encouraged by even the same Total people, the same Total, Chevron and Shell, so that they can take even more of that resources and then they overpay for it. And this has become a circle, and the government had neck deep in it, in this same circle of corruption. And Tinubu, I'm so disappointed in Tinubu to an extent that I couldn't believe he it will still continue with the same setup of NNPC, but just changing their name alone. The petroleum bill did nothing to rectify the shortfall and the shortcomings of the international oil companies making all our resources. And this same thing is happening in the mining sector. We have the Chinese and all those people illegally taking away our resources. So by the time we now start, okay, let's have regional government, let's have regional this thing, we have nothing left. The whole country has been stripped of all the natural resources that we can use to prosper our people. I'll give you an example. You see, the poultry business in Nigeria is facing a total collapse. And with the devaluation of the Naira, we have a serious opening that the government didn't take advantage of. Not because they didn't know that they could have taken advantage of it, but because they don't have enough funds to do it. This is how it is. Before, people can import chicken from Benin Republic into Nigeria. But the moment we have devaluation of the currency, it becomes very difficult for people to take goods from Benin Republic to Nigeria because the CFAs now is even more valuable than the Naira. So the cost of the chicken in Benin Republic and Nigeria is even cheaper in Nigeria. Going there will run you at a loss. So the border men and all the customs have no business even talking about poultry products coming in, because if you bring it, you are running at a loss. But that is a catch for the government to enable the poultry farmers, reduce the cost of grains or bombard the economy with enough finances so that we can have enough poultry farmers produces these products, and then we can even supply this poultry product back to Benin Republic and the rest of West Africa. Because our currency has given us that advantage because of the devaluation, which we could have done. But no, they didn't do it. Now, you now see what happens in right about now, where you now have serious hunger, because not that the farmers are not even producing enough. Majority of the farm produce comes from the north, okay? They take part of it down to the south. These farmers wants to make profit. That's why they are doing this trade. They take the produce, tomatoes and pepper and all the rest, they bring them down to the southern part to sell for profit. But believe me, now they prefer to take that product to Niger Republic, Chad, and Benin Republic, because their produce will command higher value in that place, and they don't even need to transport more. So only very few of them are bringing their produce down to the south. So that's why food prices now went up, almost 40% inflation. Now it is lucrative for farmers to sell their grains. The major component in livestock feed is maize. There was never a time maize was more expensive than soya beans. Today, maize is more expensive than soya beans. It's nearly 900 naira per kg. It has never been like that before. There was never a time maize was more expensive than soya beans. But it is because all those that produce, all the farmers that produce maize, it is easier for them to send it to other areas like the French countries where they can get higher values because of the CFAs. So CFAs is now more important for them than even transporting it down to the southwest or the southeast where they get money. So this is a paradigm shift, and this is where the major problem is. And why can't we take advantage of this? Produce enough, produce grains, produce this and all that, and empower the farmers to do more. But there's no money, because all where we get income from, the administrators, NMPs and all the CB and all the people, where they get those forexes from, they can't get them anymore because they've signed contracts to be able to pay their loans with the crude oil that they have not even extracted. This is where the problem is, and the country is in total chaos. There's not, and you will listen to Tinubu telling the people to hold their governor responsible, because with the 200,000 barrels per day that they are using to service their internal loans and their internal whatever they are doing, and then their obligations to the state and all the rest, majority of it goes to them directly. So how will they be able to now fund farmers, fund doctors, and all that. And Nigeria still continues in this circle of poverty, corrupt-ridden system with different levels of corruptions. And that is why I'm so mad at Tinubu, because he's been there for almost a year now, and NNPC still remains the same corrupt entity that it could have possibly been. Presently, we have the shells and all the rest, taking all the resources away, either as a form of loan repayment in form of IMF or as their own statutory obligation in the agreement, in the joint venture that they did. Nigeria must stop joint venture with NNPC as a matter of urgency and survival. We must take them out. In Saudi Arabia, Aramco was taken over by the Saudi government. Today, Aramco are very efficient and transparent with all their dealings, and they even have one of the best technology in the oil industry. So you see the government not being able to even supply Dangote the crude oil it needed to be able to refine and also provide fuel for us. Dangote required 300,000 barrels per day. That is the capacity of the capacity is 650 barrels per day. But with 350,000 barrels per day, we can actually at least reduce our fuel and energy needs, the sufferings by as much as 30 or 40%. But Nigeria cannot even do that, because the government itself has less than 200,000 barrels per day to service his own obligation.
Excuse me, sir. Excuse me. Are you saying that the NNPC is not run by the Nigerian state?
The same thing I'm saying is run by the Nigerian state, but it's not. It's not a first. NNPC is not a quoted company on the stock exchange. It should be nationalized in the sense that what I mean by nationalization is there should be sole responsibility for exploration and sales of Nigeria oil. The joint venture is killing the country. These people have been taking our oil like this in this format since the 70s. Since the 70s, they have been taking our oil in this format since the 70s, and they are still doing it up there now because we had relationship with Shell. Shell is a British company. What oil do British have? That they set up a company on that basis. British Petroleum and all the rest. They don't have any oil. Why are they feeding on the gullibility of our corrupt leaders? And also the setup. They saw all the loopholes. The loopholes is all over the place with the arrangement. It benefits them alone, and then they encourage the government to take loan with crude oil repayment plans. So they pay with the railway from Ibadan to Lagos. It's funded by crude oil resales, crude oil sales. That will take like almost 20 years or thereabout to pay. They did all these things. The railway from Katsina to Maradi, the same thing. And then in the southeast, there's no rail. Even if you are taking these loans, at least let the southeast have a benefit of these things. They should have done it all widespread. Okay, we are taking loan on behalf of the people. You know, all this imbalance and all this creates a lot of headache and a lot of problem for people.
But let's set oil aside. We know Nigeria has other mineral resources that we can use to survive as a nation, aside from oil. We have uranium in high deposit. We have coal. We even have natural gas. We have iron ore. We have limestone. Why are all these minerals not being exploited to the benefit of the people?
Let me tell you the coal. There's a coal in Itakpe. Itakpe has one of the best deposits of iron ore in Itakpe. In fact, Nigeria built Ajaokuta Steel Company. That Ajaokuta Steel Company was tagged the bedrock of Nigeria industrialization. There are different generations of growth and development. Nigeria never partook in any one. There were generations.
What is really happening about that Ajaokuta Steel? Because so much money has been put into that industry, and it seems not to be working.
Let me tell you, my brother. I grew up in Ajaokuta, and I knew how Ajaokuta started from start to finish. Ajaokuta had his own plant, electricity plant. In the 80s, there is no power out. You can't have power out in Ajaokuta, specifically anywhere in that town. The light is constant. The steel plant was built on the bank of River Niger. It was a perfect setup. You see, Nigeria has a perfect sense and the ability to develop different ideas. But you see, implementation is a major problem. Now, there's another steel company in Alaja. I don't know if you're aware about the steel company.
Yeah. Sure.
There's a steel company in Alaja. Now, the system was designed in such a way that the byproduct from Ajaokuta Steel Company will become a raw material for Alaja Steel Company and vice versa. So a rail line was built from Ajaokuta to Alaja Steel Company, completed today, but I'm very sure the rail line has been vandalized as I'm talking to you. By the time Babangida left office, Ajaokuta Steel Company was 95% completed.
Okay.
95% completed. Now they were even producing iron rods and some other materials, and everybody were just happy. All of a sudden, due to mismanagement, I don't know, something happened and then they stopped. To revive it back becomes a very big problem because of the finances. Still, production requires huge finances. Now we have another steel company in Oshogbo Steel Rolling Mills. They were buying some materials from Ajaokuta Steel Company when they started that production, but I don't think it lasted more than a year or few months thereabouts. Now, what happened was that it collapsed totally, and then Abacha came in. Do you know Abacha gave out some kinds of agreement with some kind of people? They were removing warehouses in Ajaokuta Steel Company. I'm privy to this information because I was there. They were removing warehouses where they could put products. They were selling these things off. From 95% completed, it went down to almost 40%. Because most of the equipment there were looted. If you visit Ajaokuta Steel Company and you see the magnitude of investment in that region, you will shed tears for Nigeria. You will shed tears for Nigeria. The magnitude of investment. The magnitude of the investment was built at the bank of a River Niger. Then what eventually killed Ajaokuta Steel Company was now Obasanjo came in. Okay, we are going to steamroll it. Then it brought some Indians. Now there was a particular blast furnace in Ajaokuta. That blast furnace has never been used before. If you ignite it, you must continue production continuously. You mustn't stop production. The Indians ignited this blast furnace, and they were producing iron beams. They were producing and selling these things all over the place. Believe me, what killed it? They couldn't meet up with some of their supplies, and then they put off the blast furnace, and they couldn't use it anymore. And so the deal collapsed. I think Obasanjo's son and some other people had some dirty deals there with the Indians. The Indians were supposed to revive the company. Until today, nothing is done about it.
So much has been put into this company. So much.
Billions.
I have government.
I have uncle who is now late that was trained in Russia. All expenses paid.
By the Nigerian state.
By the Nigerian state. All expenses paid. He was the one who taught me how to play chess when he came back. He never used his knowledge for once. He never used until he passed out. He never used the knowledge he got for once.
I imagine.
People were refusing to go to Ajakuta state complaint then because there were so many opportunities. Those who tried, they gave them all the full benefits that they deserve. So, and up to today, they kept paying some of those staffs, some of them in thousands, and nothing is coming up, just as they are doing for NNPC.
Can we say this is just an internal issue about our system, or people, or perhaps people from the West are sabotaging our system?
Yes, nobody from the West will want your system to work. That is it. It's like, okay, I'm supplying some goods to you, and I know you can produce it, and you have those resources, and I need to be doing that continuously for you. So I don't want you to be able to produce your own. It's just simple. It's the logic of life. But how did China were able to recover more than 90% of its people from the jaws of poverty into prosperity?
Thank you very much. That is where the revolution came in. I remember reading Chairman Mao's revolution. Was it?
That's it.
I remember reading Chairman Mao's revolution. There was even a movie about it. I think Jackie Chan was part of that movie. Was it 1914 or something? Was it 1914 was the name of that movie? Something like that. So I believe a revolution will help us in this respect. Without the revolution, nothing will happen.
We need a total revolution, and it has to. If the revolution must be deliberate, and it must be by the government. The government must lay a very good foundation for the people to prosper. How did China do it? There's a book written by Obama, former US president, The Audacity of Change. In that book, he did mention about the struggle America had with China. It was very vivid. There were companies. He did mention about a particular company in a state. Those companies were producing some certain materials, and they were engaging like almost 20% of the population in their employment structure. But because most companies decided to go to China, IBM left, Hewlett Packard, they left for China. They can't remain in America because of the structure of the structure of the income, the way they pay there, and all the problems associated with the cost. So it is far cheaper for them to produce most of their produce in the US than to remain in America. Now, he went to them, those companies wanted to fold up and then relocate their company to China. He went to them, what is your problem? They have problem with finances and other, and they can't compete in the markets because their product is more expensive, and then the quality is almost the same as China, and China is outperforming them, even in their own country. So how would they do it? It's better to go to China and produce that same product and then bring it back to America and then sell so that so they demanded for like $300 million there, but I couldn't remember the figure, but it was around that figure. And so they gave them that amount. In a year's time, that problem still existed. The company told them, look, we are no more interested in any funding. We need to go to China. So what makes China very attractive? China built the biggest port, Guangzhou, and the highly mechanized port in China. It's known as the Guangzhou port. This Guangzhou port, it has all the facilities to process and send orders within minutes. And so they create different synergy of product creation, enhance the population. Any product in America, they sample it. Any product in America, they sample it.
Sorry to cut you off. The name of the movie I was talking about was 1911.
Okay, 1911. Okay. I haven't seen that. Now, let me tell you, do you know the biggest crime in America today? Espionage. Espionage is the biggest crime anyone can commit in America. You know why? Their technology, they don't want it to leak out to China. Because the moment any technology leak out to China...
Sorry, please. You know the word espionage is like a big word. Please, can you explain it to a layman's understanding, please?
Yeah, espionage is like stealing technology.
Okay.
Taking technology and then using it for making use of such technology without authorization. So Americans, their military has different levels of technology, different levels in businesses. And so China fed heavily on the espionage. And that's why they're able to grow technologically wise, producing all manners of things that even some of those companies can only imagine. So they're able to take more than 80% of their people out of extreme poverty into prosperity. And today, the largest reserve of American dollars is in Chinese hand. And so that way, they control even the American economy. They are more powerful than even America. Imagine the biggest reserve of dollars that is in the world is in the hands of Chinese. So the largest currency reserves of dollars is in the hands of China as we speak. So they control the economy. And what did they do? They have the population and then they create the dominance. So that's why they need resources to feed those industries. The steel industries, the aluminum industries, the microchip industries, all the agricultural industry, everything. So they come to Africa. Africa is the number one dump site and a grave site they can use to dig up all the things that they need. If you go to the forest of Oyo State, you will see Chinese mining charcoal. Not even gold and all those resources. Charcoal, burning trees and mining them and sending to China.
There was a time I heard China was building coal plants every 9 weeks.
Building coal plants. Come again, please.
I said there was a time I heard China were building coal plants every 9 weeks in order to support their economy.
Oh, yes, the economy becomes so huge. The opportunity was immense.
You got no doubt. Something about her. And she work like a boss, play like a boss. Already if you got to pay him more. And the bills are paid on time. She made for a boss, only a boss. Anything that she telling them to get lost. That's the girl that's on my mind. She got a mountain. That's why I love her. You see it, baby. Won't you come and spend a little time? She got a mountain. That's why I love her. You see it, baby. Move away my shine. You see it, baby. Cause everything you say Ìṣẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹni tó bá kó sí owó ẹ̀ Hayat Piso Binti Hayat. Oh my God. Yes, I suppose so. Ó yẹ kẹ́ máa rá bàbà Ọlọ́run pé Ọlọ́run ò ṣe yín ní àwọn obìnrin tí wọ́n máa ń wà ní ọkọ tó máa ń ṣàgbèrè. Ká lójú kòkòrò pé ẹ fẹ́ di ìyàwó Málíà ló ti mú yín. Olúwa ṣe. Ẹ ti máa ń fẹ́. Ẹlẹ́dàá mi ò gbárí. Ẹlẹ́dàá mi lè fẹ́ wàhálà. Èmi ẹ pé wo. Mi ò tí ì ṣe pẹ̀lú màmá bàmí ni. Ọmọ yẹn láti máa bèrè justice lọ́wọ́ lọ́jọ́ èdè Ṣaléwà yẹn wà bí Ṣaléwà tó wà ní dọ́kúmẹ́ntì wà bí Ṣaléwà yẹn bí ti ọmọ Ṣaléwà lẹ́yìn ọ̀hún. Eléyìí ò kì í Ṣaléwà àwọn èèyàn ti wá rí o. Ṣaléwà ògòdì lè ní ọ̀sẹ̀ Ṣaléwà mi. Àwọn tí a jọ kọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ ayé wa sọ́wọ́ Ọlọ́run tá à ń kọ́rọ̀ ayé wa sọ́wọ́ èmi. Ẹ̀rí ọ̀ngọ́dù. Ọ̀ngọ́dù ni gbogbo wa. Tí láti bá tiẹ̀ pàdé yàn, ilé máa jí kàtí èèyàn, ó máa jí kankan. Ó máa wò bá àwọn ọmọ yẹn wò, àwọn àbúrò mi, wọ́n máa rí mi, ó máa jí, ó máa fi sára, láti go see your police watch o. Ọmọ mi, I don come out for you o. You get. Àti àgbà fi yọyọ ní fracas àgbàlagbà. Ká tó gbọ́ ní ìsìn láti máa ní àwọn kìíní ti fún wa lówó kí lórúkọ Sábọ́ọ̀dù ló sanwó fún Sẹ̀lẹ̀. Mọ́tò táwa ti lò sẹ́yìn Sábọ́ọ̀dù ẹ̀yẹ̀ fi gbàtẹ́gùn ní ìsìn. Sẹ̀lẹ̀ ẹ̀yin kan ti wá fọ́kúlà bí Ṣadẹ́lẹ̀ tàbá yìí. Ẹ ti fọ́kúlà bí. Sẹ̀lẹ̀ máa gba ife 10 years in practice and social media. 20 years in kí lorúkọ ìtọ́jú ṣe náà? Fracas àti kíni? 10 years in fracas and 20 years on blogging. Sẹ̀lẹ̀ máa gba ife. Achievement ti Sẹ̀lẹ̀ ti achieve so far nìyẹn láti ìgbà kan ti bí Sẹ̀lẹ̀. Ó ga ó lágbára gan. Láti àgbàdẹ́gbàdà ṣẹ̀sìn lórí ìkànnì yìí lórí ìkànnì. Ó bá ti fẹ́ wá sí matchmaking yìí níjọ́ Saturday àbí Sunday. Tí n bá ti rí anybody tí n bá ti rí bẹ́ẹ̀ olóṣó ni olóṣó. If you will find matchmaking, go meet. As a mama say matchmaking anyway, your mama say. Sẹ̀lẹ̀. I went from my country. Ó ga ọ, Ọlọ́run ní ọmọ àwọn sákúmà o. Ẹ̀yà tẹ̀rọ bá àwọn àgbàlagbà kò tẹ̀ sọ́pọ̀lọpọ̀ mọ́ lára àwọn àgbàlagbà ni. Ọ̀pọ̀lọpọ̀ àwọn sákúmà tó jẹ́ ká mọ̀ pé àwọn òwe kan wà tó yẹ pé ní méjì àwọn. Sẹ́yìn rí àwọn àgbàlagbà tó tolé lórí justice for Mohbad. Sẹ́yìn rí wọn.
àwọn àgbàlagbà tó tó lé lórí justice for Mohbad ṣé ẹ̀ ní rí wọn kó jẹ́ pé látàárọ̀ tí ẹ ti ń dráàgì ìkan lára èèyàn wọn tó dẹ̀ mọ̀ pé ìkan lára èèyàn wọn lọ ń bá obìnrin jà ó lọ ń bú ìyàwó lé ó lọ ń tòsí ìyàwó lé ṣé wọn ti ní wá báyìí máa padà tó gbàgbà tó tó lé ni wọn ẹ ti mọ̀ pé rádaràdá ni gbogbo wọn bá kiri.
handsome bobo àṣírí fọsọ ìsáró bí èsì ilé láti tó jẹ́ pé yóò máa wá ga o láti wá máa bú South Africa láti ẹ máa ní sùúrù o ẹ máa ní sùúrù o tó bá ti ń dá 25,000 ti wọlé.
You saw say you no go borrow this face.
No be my face o.
Then na your this face dey guide you.
Ṣẹlẹ̀ ìkọ́sùn ti ṣẹlẹ̀ o.
Ṣẹ́ni bí ẹ.
Ṣẹlẹ̀ ìkọ́sùn ti ṣẹlẹ̀ o. Mo dáná. Mo ṣe kọ́kọ́ ní ìsinsìnyí ẹ̀ ṣó ń gbọ́. Mo ṣó ọmọ kan lórí láìpẹ́ ní ìsinsìnyí ẹ̀. Ṣó ń gbọ́ mi? Ọmọ tí mo ṣó ẹ̀ ọmọ ẹ ní girlfriend pàdé mi ni òun ló ń bá wa boy tí mo ní mò ń wá bí báyìí. Farabalẹ̀ náà, farabalẹ̀. So wá ní kan lára àwọn olólùfẹ́ mi ṣóyí ẹ̀. Ó wá rí, mo kàn lọ wo WhatsApp mi ní sí mo kàn gbọ́. Have a nice time with your woman. No be you. You know this person send that to me too like this. Ṣé ó tè ní àbí tani? Irọ́ No. You talk say as you talk say 5 minutes everything burst. You don't take 5 minutes like that to please so. Ọmọ ẹ bá mi pé bọ́ọ̀ yẹn jẹ́ òun ni o. Sorry. So ọmọ yẹn wá. Ṣé kò ṣe ọmọ yẹn díwèé yìí?
Aláàtì ọmọ yẹn pé bọ́ọ̀ yẹn ló
ṣe díwèé yìí yẹn. So vacation tó lóun lọ náà ṣáìdì dé. Torí pa ti sọ bólúṣọ ni wá tó wá di pé káwọn ọmọ ìtẹ̀wá máa ṣe díkì ní. Ní òṣèlè sáré fún mi lórí nǹkan tí wọ́n mọ̀ mẹ́. O ní ìsìn o ti torí nǹkan tó mọ̀ o ti fi bírèkì marriage of 7 years. 7 years ago.
Justice kan bẹ̀rẹ̀ náà tẹ̀yìn yẹn kàn máa ń fi ọdún kún ọdún tẹ mítà wọn tẹ̀ ń fẹ́.
Ọdún kún náà nìyẹn. Àmì pàṣẹ justice of Mohbad.
Justice of Okú Àtòǹgò.
Relationship tó ti bọ́lé mi báyìí àdúgbòsó.
Mẹ́lẹ́ tiẹ̀ o, wà á tún rí mi ìwọ̀n má wọ̀rì, ẹja pọ̀ lódò.
Wá fún wọn tó lé bí aṣọ ni.
Hide your face. If you no get money, hide your face. Your face. Hide your face.
Àti mo sọ ọmọ tó dẹ̀ bá mi jà nísinsìnyí yẹn mú bẹbẹ fẹ́ ni o.
Mr. Nasomi àti Mrs. Komaka, mo ti close ní sí máa drop o. So ẹ máa padà join. Thank you very much. Thanks for joining.